The conversation over state online sales tax continues to heat up, and an ice rink will cool things down in Leeds. Tribune Unscripted starts now. Welcome back, everybody. Happy Thursday. Welcome back to Tribune Unscripted. I'm Brandon Dawkins with Tribune Digital Media, here with Scott Buttram, publisher of the Trustful Tribune.
Yep.
And today, so we haven't talked about it in a while. We talked about it all summer long.
We did. We talked
about simplified seller's use tax, which is essentially the sales tax that's collected in the state of Alabama when we, well, probably other states too, when we shop online. And it was a very big issue in our local elections this summer, just because it is an evolving issue and that it's going to be really important for city budgets moving forward. And this effort by Tuscaloosa Mayor Walt Maddox to correct
the distribution formula.
Yeah, change the distribution formula. It's headed to court, really.
Yeah, and I'm going to oversimplify a little bit.
Okay, do it.
Everything Tuscaloosa is doing is to try to make sure cities get their fair share, which they are not currently getting.
Right.
And we'll get into that.
Okay. Well, so this week in the Tribune area, we saw some of our cities fall in line on the other side of this issue.
Yeah, we did.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about Moody first.
Well, can we start with complimenting? I want to compliment our audience. You and I made the decision to make this an issue that we wanted to talk about during the political forums because we've been looking at the data. Every one of our cities is incredibly reliant on sales tax. This actually, if this is done correctly, it also is a huge opportunity for cities that might not have a big retail brick and mortar base. As long as they're getting credit for the online sales in their city, they're competing with anybody, because instead of billing it where the store is, they're billing it where the customer is, which is in their city. Right now, they're not getting that money, or they're getting a small percentage of what they should be getting based on what they earn out of brick and mortar. So I want to compliment our audience. We made the decision to talk about it because we thought it was important that all of these.
You made the decision. I thought it was going to really confuse things. I'll just step up to the plate and say, hey, I was kind of like, whoa. But then you, because I didn't understand it totally until we got into it. But you dug your heels in and were like, no, this is vital for people to understand this.
If cities don't get their fair share, if cities don't get their fair share, and they are currently not, this is going to eventually be financially devastating to cities, and we're going to show our readers the trend. That's the other point I want to make. I felt like it was super important going in. We've learned so much more that we didn't know when the political forums took place. So I want to compliment the audience because the conversation on our social media was outstanding from you guys. The questions I got, emails I got from citizens that saw the interview, have been reading about this, have been kind of learning on their own. I was blown away by y'all. I mean, it just really quality questions. Why would they make this decision? What is this? What's the impact? What is the formula now? And what will it be if we stay with that formula? Because most of the public now understands the state is getting 100% of what they get, whether it's brick and mortar or online. They're getting all their money. There's no difference there. County getting about, I would guess between 75 and 80% of what they would get out of brick and mortar. They're getting about 75 to 80% of that from online. I will also say this, if Tuscaloosa's numbers, if that ends up winning the lawsuit, it would correct the balance of all these based on what they get from brick and mortar. It would just give them a fair separation. It's not the county that's the problem. I think to redo all of this, the state would be at about the same percentage the county is now, and I think the cities would be too. So my point is this, I don't think this would change the county money very much. Other than it could clarify some things where the cities are getting money, start getting their money that they are not getting now.
Well, and cities are not getting the right amount, like you and I were talking about. This is really impacting cities with city school systems where the city gives a certain percentage back.
Or county. There's county school systems that get
like in
sales tax at all.
The city gives a certain percentage back to the school system. This is a real issue.
Yeah, and we hadn't even gotten into that. Trussell City Schools, which gets part of our sales tax, has been completely cut out. But I didn't bring that issue up because that is unique to certain places. I'm just looking at the stuff that's common and true across the board
to everybody. Well, let's talk about Moody specifically.
Okay.
So kind of explain.
So what we had last week, and this is what brought the questions up. Okay. We had two stories, one from Argo City Council where...
And we're going to talk about that.
I don't know if the council passed a resolution, but they came out in support of leaving it the way the state has it. And obviously that's going to raise questions because everybody can see the state gets 100%, county gets about 87%, and the cities are getting about 65%. So there were questions there, but I would caution everybody, we don't know the data that our mayors and our councils have looked at. We're working on finding that out now, but they came out in support. I think the very same day or the next day, the city of Moody came out in support of it. And Mayor Nick Rutledge in Moody actually did an interview with Jacob, and we're going to we'll go ahead and play the interview.
Sure.
He kind of explained why they made this decision. His explanation, and just to be candid, raised a lot more questions than it answered. So he's going to be with us next week. We'll get an opportunity for him to kind of clarify and explain to us what he meant on that. This will give our audience a chance to see what the mayor of Moody said, why they're they're siding with the state leaving it alone. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mayor Rutledge, I just wanted to ask, first off, why did y'all at the City of Moody decide to intervene or show your support for the state in the SSUT litigation?
Well, the SSU tax means a lot in our city, and I think the fair portion, the way it's set up now, the state's doing it fair, where technically you're paying from where you buy it from, and the way that some of the bigger, larger municipalities are trying to get it is going to be from where they're distributing it from, which is going to hurt all these smaller and less big cities. So I think we got to stand our ground and join together to make sure that we're all benefiting from where our citizens are the ones spending the money. So that's where the money should come back to.
Let me ask you, and if you don't know the answer to this right off the top of your head, that's fine. I want to know, what do you think the financial impact would be, though, if this litigation were to go through and it was decided with Tuscaloosa and these larger municipalities?
I think it would be devastating for these smaller cities. I mean, you're talking losing millions of dollars in a county and a city combined, and I mean, that's going to trickle down to, you're going to see cities start laying off employees and start laying, there's no telling what the financial impact would be to some of these cities.
And just how positively has this benefited? How positively has Moody benefited from the SSUT?
So the SSU tax has benefited us a lot because our county commission now they help pay for our SROs in our schools, along with us. So we supply police officers in every school, and the county is helping do that with the SSUT tax. If this tax was cut in any way, that's going to go away. So it's not just Moody; it's going to be Springville, Ragland. Everybody around us is going to feel the effect of that if that were to happen in our case.
I don't know if you heard about this, but earlier in the year, another Tribune area city, Trussville, they voted in support of Tuscaloosa and everything like that. I just wondered, what is your response to how it could impact them?
Trussville is in a unique situation because they have those bigger box stores where this stuff is being ordered from. So of course, I don't fault Trussville for trying to support their cities, but my job is to protect our citizens, and our citizens are one ordering from those box stores. So if we had the box store here, then we'd probably feel the same way, but we don't, and we're spending the money. So I feel like we should get our portion, and I think the way the state's doing it currently is fair for us as the whole.
Is there anything I'm missing? Anything you want to add to any of this?
No, I think it's good.
All right.
I think it's good.
Okay, I want to go ahead and tell people Mayor Rutledge is scheduled to be on the show
Yeah,
this week.
yeah, and
we'll
talk.
We'll
have a chance to go further.
Yes.
I think one of the, and it was in the story as well. One of the comments the mayor made that concerned people a little bit, or concerned people that reached out to us. Let's see. The SSUT has meant a lot to our city, Rutledge said. The state's doing it fair. I don't think anybody's looked at the formula would go along with that, but he feels like they are. And again, he'll have a chance to kind of explain to us why he feels that way. You're paying from where you buy it from, and that helps these smaller and less big cities. Our citizens are the ones spending the money, so that's where the money should come back to. That's what the Tuscaloosa plan does. It's not happening that way now. So that, I think that is one thing a lot of citizens heard and went,
wait a minute,
we're on the wrong side then, because and most people agree. I agree with the mayor. Because this is not a brick and mortar purchase, these are online purchases, then the transaction took place in the home. So if somebody in Moody buys something online, Moody should get the city's tax revenue for that, but that's not currently what's happening. And the state formula gives the state 100%, the county about 85%, and the cities, this is of what they would normally get on brick and mortar. State gets all of their money. Counties get most of their money. Cities are getting barely over half of their money. And there are a ton of loopholes. One of the comments that Mayor Rutledge mentioned, he kind of mentioned Tuscaloosa and Trussville together as with big boxes, and I want to clarify that. Tuscaloosa is the 5th largest city in Alabama with 105,000 people. Trussville is 26,000. That's a whole lot closer to Moody, Alabama than Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Yeah, and they are, even though we have a lot more commercial than Moody, Tuscaloosa has a lot more commercial than
a lot
we
more.
do.
So it'll impact every city. And it's already impacting cities. They're already kind of getting the shaft here. But this was the other thing that concerned me, the app situation. Let me just give you an example, because we've done this before. Brandon lives in Trussville. Brandon goes on the Walmart app, orders from Walmart, drives to the Walmart in Trussville, picks up her order in Trussville, drives back to her home in Trussville, and she thinks she shopped locally. Well, because you used the app, none of that went into the local tax base. It all went into the online tax base. So big point here. In every single city, grocery stores are your cash cow.
Yeah.
I might spend $200 this month in Walmart if I go in there and buy something, kind of big. That's not unusual. We're going to spend $100-something on groceries every single week. Moody, Alabama has a Publix.
Yeah.
And everybody that orders, and my wife does this, she's one of these people. She orders online through the app and drives up, and they bring it out and put it in her car. Yeah. And those parking places are full and all these things. So what I would say to the mayor is, in most cities, that is a huge revenue cash cow, and the people of Moody ain't getting a lot of that money. So these are the things that everybody's kind of, and every city is different. Every city is different. That is what I learned
this summer that was the biggest eye-opener for me, is that, because I do what you say, is I go to Sam's and Target every week for pickup, and that is not impacting my school system or anything the way that I thought it was.
Right.
So that was a big thing.
Right. Trussville schools get nothing on that purchase. They're completely cut out.
And we understand where smaller cities who are on the side of the state want to be there because they don't, some that have lower median incomes and they feel like as much online, they might be getting more than they would if it were reformulated. Right. That's what cities are afraid of, is that they will get less money, because this was just like free money is what it felt like.
It did, because they went from getting zero to getting
I just looked it up, because we looked it up this summer and we were surprised. So the median household income in the city of Argo, based on, I think, 2023 data, so it's probably higher now, is $107,818 a year. That's high. I mean, that's...
Well, if you believe online purchases follow the money, and before we go further, I want to make sure I clarify this.
So Argo might be surprised if they had access to what
Well, yeah.
If they, you know what I'm saying?
I do.
They might think that they were going to get less if the formula changed, but they might be surprised because chances are the people
more.
in their city are online shopping more than they realize.
Well,
maybe. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see.
And before we go any further with this conversation, I want to make it clear, I am not saying Argo or Moody or Trussville or any other city that weighs in on this is right or wrong.
Yeah, because
we don't know. We don't know. And what we're going to do, what the newspaper actually have already started the process. The Tuscaloosa City of Tuscaloosa is the one who filed the suit. Well, they've done multiple free presentations. They've invited all mayors, all council people. They have been doing these presentations for months now, where they come in and they go through a whole slideshow presentation, and they can take your revenue, your sales tax revenue numbers from 2025, whatever that number is, whatever your city had, they can take your city's numbers and they can run them through the program that would show how it would have paid out under Tuscaloosa's proposed plan. So what we've started doing, Jacob started this yesterday, he's gathering those revenue numbers from all 9 of our cities. We're sending them to Tuscaloosa. We're gonna let them run all those programs. Then we'll publish it, and it will show each city and would they do better under the Tuscaloosa plan, or are they doing better now?
Okay.
Because that's important. We've had kind of a rudimentary, and that's where you were going here. We've had kind of a rudimentary view of this under the pretense that online purchases follow the money. Okay, that sounds simplistic, but if you've got more money to spend, chances are you're spending more money. So what are the average household incomes in our cities compared to the state of Alabama as average? Because the way it's working right now is all of this money goes into a pot. And if you went and bought groceries in Moody or Leeds and you did it through the app, the folks in Utah, Alabama got just as much money off your purchase as the people in the city where you live.
Right.
So that is a big, big issue here. I contend, that our cities have strong household incomes. We looked up Argo. Argo's household income, this is according to the U.S. Census data, Argo's household income is 140% of the state average, meaning
higher.
Yeah, Argo family, average household is going to have about 50% more, 40% more to spend than the average Alabama family would. Argo is 150%.
You mean Trussville and Argo? I think you.
No, I said. I'm sorry. Argo's 150%. Moody is 140%.
Moody is 140%.
Moody was 140%.
Okay.
Argo is 150% of the median state income. So it looks like certainly that is a demographic every city would die to have. Families that are successful, which both of these cities have a lot of successful families. So that would raise my eyebrows right there, okay? If your residents have considerably more money to spend than the average Alabama family, and that is being divided by population as opposed by the actual purchases, because again, this is not going to the city. This goes into one big pot right now. And that's what confused people when they heard the Moody mayor say, well, I think it ought to go to where the people purchased it lived. Agreed. But right now, that all goes into a pot and it is redivided by population. Right. So the fact that Moody and Argo have far more successful people living there than the average Alabama community, they're not getting any advantage for that whatsoever. So those are two factors that I'm just anxious to hear from our mayors. And what did they looked at data too. Mm-hmm. They did their research. And I'm assuming they ran their numbers through Tuscaloosa because that's been offered to every city. So what we're about to see, I'm assuming they already know that they did this months ago. So it's interesting because they may have found an angle we're not seeing.
It will be interesting to see.
It will be interesting.
Also, Walt Maddox, mayor of Tuscaloosa, is also going to be on the show.
Mayor Maddox will be on.
Our first guest.
He will. He'll be on next week, and he will kind of explain what the Tuscaloosa plan would do for all the cities in Alabama, and he'll be able to answer some of these questions very specifically. Before we move on, I do want to take a look at a PowerPoint presentation. Jacob, if you've got that, if you could pull up screen 16, slide 16. I want to share this with our audience because this is all data driven, and the more we know about the data, the more we can do. Okay, there we've got it. If you guys will notice the graph on the right, this is, and I'm bringing this up because during the political forums, we had a handful of candidates that said, "Oh yeah, I know about the online purchasing because of COVID." We didn't embarrass anybody with that, but that was kind of a clue to us that they really didn't know, because while online did jump up during COVID, it dipped back down after COVID. Not as far as it had been, but it dipped back down. The climb has started again post-COVID. 2 years after COVID, it declined. Now it started back up the last 2 years. That's concerning because this is at a higher rate, meaning money that your city has been living off of from local retailers and the taxes you've been paying locally is going to continue to decline because this is going to continue to increase. And Jacob, if we could jump over to slide 26. This is the other piece of data that I wanted our audience to see. The online purchases, you can see it. This is being driven by 34 and under citizens. Younger ones are doing even more online, 25 to 34, a third of their purchases are now being done online. But when that tells you one thing, but look at the other demographics. They purchase online, but not at the level this next generation is purchasing. That tells me this is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, which we already knew. But the young folks coming in, they're the ones now doing the spending. They're the ones now doing the earning. They operate differently than I do and my age group does. Sorry, I just banged my microphone. But so I just wanted to share that information. We'll have so much more in the paper when we get the.
I'm going to be honest with you. I have a hard time believing this, the 45 to 54, that online is that low. That's really hard. Is this the entire population? What is this based on? Do you know?
All of the information, they gave all of the sources.
Because I'm in that age range. That does not reflect that chart does not represent my purchasing habits.
Okay, all of the information came from the city's information came from ELKL Coalition. The very first slide gives you all the sources. Public information, PARCA, which is we use that a lot.
Specific to Alabama.
Yes, it's all Alabama.
Okay.
ESRI.
Wow, I'm not in that.
Oh well, no. U.S. Department of Commerce, U.S. Census Bureau, City of Tuscaloosa Accounting and Finance, Alabama Department of Revenue,
really
Alabama Department of Education, Wall Street Journal, AL.com. That's probably bad info. World Population View. So they're using a variety of sources, but the bottom line is.
Go back to that.
Online sellers,
go back.
They keep all of this.
Go back to that chart.
Which, the last one we had up?
Yeah, the one, yes, this one right here that you're talking about. Okay, you're in this one.
Yeah.
Now does that, but I'm just curious.
Probably about right.
Really?
Probably about right. Lori probably does more online because she orders the groceries through the app, though we're trying to stop that because it's hurting our city. But yeah, that's probably about, I'm going to go to the store if I can. I buy stuff online, but not a lot.
That is just
and I will also say this.
This is not surprising to me, the younger people. This is shocking to me.
It's not, it's really not to me. I've never thought online, I mean, it's convenient. The convenience of it I like, but if I can, I'm not going to buy a pair of shoes online. I'm going to go to the store. I'm not going to buy a shirt online. I'm going to go to Leeds and buy it at Brooks Brothers. I don't do that. Now, girls, I think, do more of that.
Yeah, we do.
But
yeah, we do, sure. Interesting. Okay. All right. Well, that was a lot. We're gonna. You have anything else? We're gonna take a break.
Those were. I think we covered a lot there. And what again? What I want to leave is. Yeah, and I will offer one more thing because I didn't answer the original question that we got from a lot of readers, which was, why is this? Why are they doing this right now? Because I don't know. We've got that. The county commission, the Alabama. And I need to mention this. Several of the things mentioned by Mayor Rutledge really caught people off by surprise. SROs will go away and all this. It did not catch me by surprise because I know where it originated and I've kind of been following it. That doomsday scenario is strictly coming from the Alabama County Commission Association. It started when they met at Perdido Beach, I think over the summer, I'm not sure, it hadn't been that long. And their director, who is actually a lobbyist, Sonny Brassfield, laid out this doomsday scenario for them to go out and preach back home. Several of the things that Mayor Rutledge said, I read in the story about that meeting at Perdido Beach Resort. I recognized all of it. Stan Bateman, who is chairman of the St. Clair County Commission, we love Stan, good guy, did an interview with the St. Clair Times in September, repeating all of Sonny Brassfield's doomsday scenario talking points. So it didn't surprise me when Mayor Rutledge shared some of those same points, because the county sent out a notice this week, it's actually on my personal Facebook page, a picture of it, asking or reminding county commissioners, go get your cities to join us in this lawsuit. And so that's what happened. The St. Clair County Commission pushed mayors. These are all new mayors, they're still learning, so this is a good group to try to manipulate, but went out and pushed them to join the state, support what the county wants to do. So I'm very confident of that, because when you're using the exact same verbiage at all three stops, it's clear that message has come across. I don't know if it was Stan Bateman, but I bet it would. I bet it was, because Stan's a good talker, and I bet Stan went and used his persuasive powers. The way those St. Clair mayors started falling, I wondered if they all woke up and Stan had left a horse head in their bed or something, But this is what I would say to all of our mayors and all of our cities. And this is not, we've got a great county commission over in St. Clair County. We got, I think, a really great one here in Jefferson County. I think Joe Knight works tirelessly for us. I think Stan and the county commissioners representing our St. Clair cities work tirelessly for them. But I'm telling you this, and I would say this if Stan's sitting in the room. In fact, I'd invite Stan to come sit in the room so I could say it to him. I would say it if Joe Knight were sitting in the room. The county commission is not concerned with the city when they come and talk to you about keeping this the same. The county commission is trying to preserve status quo for their money flow. That's all this is about for the county. They don't want any of their money to be disrupted or interrupted. They are not concerned about the cities, because if they were, they would be calling the state saying, hey, we gave up part of ours. Why aren't you giving up part of yours and send that to our cities? The county, in my opinion, the Alabama County Commission Association was led down a horrible road by their director at that meeting, given bad information, and I don't want to see our mayors embarrassed and holding the bag on this thing.
Well, and like we had talked about earlier, you don't want to be the mayor that doesn't make the right choice here.
With the direction online sales are going, if you make the wrong choice here, and again, I'm not saying what is right or wrong, we don't know, but if you make the wrong choice, you're going to cost your city millions of dollars, and it is year after year after year after year. So I hope, and I believe the people who were elected went and did their homework. I think Nick will probably be able to come in and say, here's what it looks like for us now. We ran the numbers if we changed it, and here's what it looked like, and it's not good for us. It's kind of hard for me to visualize that, but I'm still learning this too. So I'm expecting to be told things I didn't know. All right? But we're going to stay with it, because this is critical for the success of our all 9 cities.
We expect some of this stuff to come up in the legislative session.
Some,
possibly,
a little bit.
Right?
I think the legislature is inclined to try to make this better. I think they want to look at the app situation right away, because I don't think anybody was aware that our cities were going to, our cities are getting hosed. If you have a Publix, if you have a Walmart, a Target, you're getting hosed. If you have any retailer that people order on apps.
As an example, that's different than using like some of the grocery shopping apps. There is no markup.
Irondale's about to get a Costco.
Right.
How badly would they get hosed if this doesn't get corrected?
Absolutely. And I mean, so those are stores that when you just do pickup with those stores, there's no increase in price.
Right.
And there's not a pickup fee. So it's the same as going in and shopping at the store.
And
people are going to do it because there's no, you're not at a financial disadvantage to do it.
Right.
And then it's convenient.
Right.
And so we want that money to go
That's
where
right.
it should.
It's convenient and it's easy.
Yeah.
And here's the other factor. These are stores where you make your largest average purchases.
Yeah,
so when I say cities are getting hosed over the app alone, I mean, if it were no other, even if everybody was getting an even amount, and I'm a city, I'm probably in this lawsuit over the app situation, if no other.
Yeah.
But when you look at just the percentages that go to the state, that go to the city, that go to the county, that go to the city, then you compare it to brick and mortar, the city's low man on the totem pole. And here's the thing, it's our cities that are providing, small business owners in our cities that are providing the jobs. It is our cities that are protecting the streets. It is our cities that are taking care of their citizens, bringing in amenities for their citizens. I'm going to defend our 9 cities to the mat because that's who keeps us alive as well.
Okay.
Right?
All right. Well, that was a lot. Okay, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to get to other news of the day. Stay with us. Have you been to Discount Warehouse lately? New electronics, brand name makeup, and bedding arrive daily. Follow their Facebook page to find out about special sales on clothing, tools, and fireworks. Discount Warehouse, where you will never pay retail price.
Ah, now this is the life. Who's a good boy? Well, to tell you the truth, it's my humans. They're the ones who made sure to buy me a home with natural gas. The furnace warms like no other. The fire turns on instantly. Whoa. And I'm happier than a beagle in a bacon factory. Oh, that's the spot. With the money we save on our energy bill, well, I got big plans for that. Visit my website and learn why natural gas is a home's best friend.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Well, let's talk about something else that you have very little opinion on. Yeah. Let's talk about the school board selection process.
Oh, in Trussville.
And so that also was a hot topic during political forums this summer before municipal elections in August. Now, the Trussville City Council is looking at overhauling that school board selection process to make some changes because there just continue to be unhappiness within the community at the way it was done. And so do you want to, nothing official has changed. All of this is just being discussed in their work sessions, correct?
Right. The mayor made a proposal and now the new council is kind of working through the proposal. This has kind of dominated discussion in the first 2 council meetings of the new administration. I guess the first thing I would say is I'm incredibly encouraged by this conversation taking place with the Trussville City Council. The recommendation from Mayor Short I thought was outstanding. He really went back, and because the old selection process wasn't completely horrible. It never was, but there were elements that were really undermining confidence in the community in the process. Right. So I thought Mayor Short did a great job of kind of rectifying a lot of those areas where people had concerns, made a good proposal to the council. They spent, as I said, the better part of 2 weeks. They are mainly focusing on who to put on the committee to review applications when they come in and how that committee will review it. Again, a lot of good ideas, a lot of good conversation as they try to work through it. And you've got to remember, 4 of the 5 people that are doing this have not done anything in city government ever before in their lives in terms of legislation. So some of this is they'll have an idea and then they kind of got to find out, well, for legal reasons that may not work, or for other reasons it may not be a good idea. But they're adamant about working through this process and figuring it out. I have really no advice to give them. I'm so impressed with the direction they're taking. The finalist interviews will all be public. That's just huge to me. I'm so proud of this group for taking that stance towards transparency. The only thing I can suggest or even toss out there is if you continue to struggle with this committee, and I think the mayor may even suggest the same thing to them, if you continue to struggle with how you want to compile this committee, there is also the option that the council can simply say, we are declaring ourselves, or I think the mayor may have to appoint it, but we're going to appoint ourselves a committee of the whole, which means the entire council becomes the committee to review the applications. That's more work on them, but I'll also say this, the state constitution places all of this authority. If you've got an appointed school board, state constitution is very clear. This is the council's responsibility to do. So it would be more work, but you could probably also convince yourself, hey, we're going to own this from beginning to end. And that way we can assure absolute transparency all the way through. Yeah. I love the idea that they're trying to include different elements in the community. But you can always fall back on what state law says, and it's your job, it's your responsibility.
Yeah, the buck stops.
Yeah, and if you wanted to declare a committee of the whole, so you're all working on that together. First of all, I think school board appointments are important enough that it could justify that, but I would absolutely support it if they do that. Again, a lot of work and they have to do it every year. Okay. Remember that, you got to do it every year. Mm-hmm. But I'm proud of our council. I'm proud of the leadership they're getting from the mayor's office, and I think they're going in the right direction on this. Okay.
Well, let's turn and talk about sports. Huge sports weekend at the end of last weekend in the Tribune area. Yes, and we don't have to spend a ton of time on it because the sports staff did a big show at Ferris Monday night, interviewing Moody and Clay Chalkful and just celebrating state championship wins for Moody's football team and Clay Chalkful's football team. And that was just a big deal. It
was a huge deal. Tribune area schools, Moody flag football, Moody football, Clay Chalkful football, won 3 state championships in 3 consecutive days, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of last week. All won in thrilling fashion. All are outstanding. Trib Sports Live. If you missed that, was it Monday night? Mm-hmm. Go back and watch it. We had all 3 representatives of all 3 teams up there. Those Moody girls do not look like football players, but their record indicates otherwise. They know what they're doing. But they came up looking fantastic. I'm like, y'all play football? But great athletes, did a great job, and they're tough. And I like to see that. Moody football, Coach Gaines, they got their first state championship in football.
And it was a shutout.
Yeah, 25-0. Viger is a traditionally powerhouse from South Alabama. Moody didn't care. Moody put a serious whooping on them, and proud of those boys in Moody. Clay Chalkful, I don't know what. I saw a poll that came out today showing them the number 2 high school football team in Alabama. They are the number 1 football team in the state of Alabama. It ain't close. It ain't in question. There's no gray area here. They have beaten Thompson 3 straight times. Mm-hmm. The 7A champion, the Clay Chalkful Cougars own Thompson. I mean, they ought to start having to pay property taxes over there in Alabaster. They own them so bad. The best program in Alabama are the Cougars, and I don't care if you don't see that when they have beaten the 7A state champion back-to-back years. I don't know what you're looking at. But I look. And by the way, y'all, you online folks, I saw that poll. And I went in and I looked which media outlets voted in that poll, and I took note. 2 of them had Clay Chalkful at number 1 where you're supposed to have them. The other people, y'all don't know ball because that's wrong. But congratulations to all of them. I got carried away there. But listen, that was Clay Chalkful's, I think, 5th state championship. They've averaged one every 6 years since that school opened.
Yeah, it's really incredible.
It is an amazing story. It's just great to watch it. And Stuart Floyd.
I was going to say this just his story with Clay Chalkful is just you just can't even.
He's one of my favorite people. Stuart was the quarterback of the first Clay Chalkful State Championship
really,
team.
you can't make that up.
4 of those rings, he's got 4 of those rings. 1 as a player, 2 as an assistant, now as a head coach. And the only one he didn't get, he wasn't there that year, or he'd have been one of the coaches then too. But just proud of Stuart. I've seen him grow so much, not as a football coach, just take football completely out of the equation. I have seen Stuart Floyd grow so much as a human being and a person, and it's been an amazing thing to behold. But that guy rocks, that staff rocks. I'm proud of Moody, proud of Clay Chalkful, proud of Moody girls. We're going to keep celebrating. You want to talk about the cigars?
Yep, let's do that.
Okay.
Let's talk about the cigars and Moody. So that was a little bit of a bummer. So some photographs or images circulated online of cigar smoking in the locker room at Protective Stadium after the game that the story says involved students and staff. Some people have been disciplined, no names have been put out there, and so that was a little bit of a downer.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that for a second, because it was those of you who were on our Facebook page yesterday know it was a big topic of conversation. Everybody's got an opinion on it. I want to start with this. In 1979, a certain high school basketball team played their final game, and all the seniors had cigars and smoked them afterwards. And I know because I was one of those seniors. And so what took place in that locker room is really no different than it's taken place for generations. What has changed is you, our society. That's what's changed. And we no longer allow principals or administrators to use good common sense and good judgment and look at the totality of a situation and roll out discipline based on everything. No, we have moved, and y'all, again, I'm including myself, we're the ones who went out and elected a bunch of legislators with zero tolerance laws that they have passed. Just so you know, no principal in Alabama has any choice. If their kids are on a school event and pictures of those kids smoking cigars go out for the entire world to see, and the principal sees them, he's got to follow state law. It's not. We've taken the option away from these administrators. We did that when we went and voted for these zero tolerance laws. So I understand people saying, well, they're overreacting. Yeah, but I guarantee you voted for the people that passed the laws that forced them into this. I guarantee you did. We all did. I don't know all the boys involved. I know some of them. I can tell you, I don't expect any of them to show up on the front page of the Trussell Tribune in an orange jumpsuit. I expect them to, the ones I know, I expect them to go out and have a very successful life and raise a family and children and contribute to society and contribute to their community, because these are good kids, okay? They did what kids do. Again, 1979, I did it. So I'm not going to jump on these kids for doing it. I will say this, it's a different world that you're growing up in. There was not a camera in everybody's hand in 1979. You got to be aware of that. You got to use good judgment.
And I will say, just as a parent, I'm going to step out here and say, though, the combination of staff and students involved in the situation is not ideal
the adults in the room needed to act like adults in the room. And I think
it's an exciting moment.
And I think the adults in the room would tell you that today. I wish I'd have handled it a little differently. But there was not anything out trying to punish the kids. And by the way, Jake Gaines did not resign because of the cigar deal. That had been in works for weeks. But these are good kids that made a mistake. And the few I know, my expectation is they will take what is a minor mistake, in my opinion, and they will probably use it to great advantage in the future. So,
well, since these games wrapped up, now it's like football coach turnover here. Yeah. It's crazy. So Pinson's coach has resigned. Outside of Tribune area, Pell City's coach has resigned. That's significant because now Jay Gaines is going to Pell City. And so now we've got opening in Moody, and so there's just a lot happening.
And we got a handful of folks from Clay that think the Trussville coach should be let go. I don't know why they're concerned with that, but just a lot of wild stuff talking about on the internet, social media. If you let it be fun, it can be fun. I think it's kind of fun to hear all this. The bottom line is Jake did an outstanding job at Moody. The St. Clair County Superintendent, Justin Burns, was hired as the superintendent for Pell City. And he knew how it worked in St. Clair County because he was a superintendent there. And those schools don't have the freedom to be as competitive as they may need to be in the job market.
Financially.
Right. Well, their superintendent leaves. He knows that. He tells his new employer, we can go get Jake Gaines, and this is all we have to do. So that's what they did. And it's a great opportunity for Jake and his family. I have talked to Chris Walters endlessly about this. He is in full support of Coach Gaines. He is proud of him. He's happy that he's having the opportunity. And anybody would make the same decision based on the numbers that were out there. And I know that's all public, but if Jake wants to share it, he can share it. But it was a substantial increase in pay for him to take that job. I can also tell you that we know with absolute certainty that Mr. Walters, is he Dr. Walters? Chris got a doctorate. He got his doctorate, didn't he? He did, didn't he? So Dr. Walters, before any of this got to a point of resignation, before there were cigars in the locker room, before there was a championship game, Dr. Walters had already gone about the business of looking for the best possible coach to bring in, because this is now a program that's going to have to be contended with. Upgrade of the facilities, great athletes over there. They're doing a first-class training program that's making them very competitive. And just to remind you, Moody's won a couple of blue maps, a few blue maps outside of football. So it's a fun time. I feel like all of our schools will probably end up with great coaches.
Amazing. It really is amazing.
I think
okay. Well, a couple of
did you mention Pension resigned as well?
Yes, I did.
So that's all that's going around.
That time of year. Okay. Okay, a couple of things before we get away today. I was going to mention Valley Road was closed this week, a section of it, because of utility work on Tuesday and Wednesday, and I know that kind of probably complicated some holiday traffic. It's just so busy this time of year, but as far as I know, that is back open. Yeah,
I hope they move quickly. Wouldn't you think? You think Mike's just sitting around thinking, hey,
definitely.
We got holiday shopping going.
I just closed down.
Let me shut down. He doesn't have a Grinch outfit in his office or anything, does he?
So I have a feeling that got handled just fine.
Well, we will say this, Trussville Gas and Water is about the most efficient operation in this town, so if they had to shut the road, I promise you they were as efficient as they knew how to be.
That's right, absolutely. And then I did want to talk about this last thing. We do always mention Mistletoe on Main in Leeds. That is this Friday night. It's from 4 to 7. Yep. You can visit the story at TrussvilleTribune.com. There's a link to the website with all the additional information about Mistletoe on Main. But this is their new attraction. Thank you. I just lost my words. Their new attraction is they are putting in an ice rink for the evening. And so I'm sure it will be covered up because that's always pretty popular and just not everywhere in the state of Alabama.
I had the opportunity over the last week to be on Springville's Main Street after sundown, on Leeds Main Street after sundown, and then Trussville's Main Street in his entertainment district after sundown, with all those Christmas lights sparkling. I got to tell you,
it's nice.
It really does put you in the mood and the spirit.
Oh,
and it just feels so Americana in those three particular ones, and I probably feel that same way in other cities, but I happen to be in those three all after dark with Christmas lights up, and man, it is awesome.
Oh,
it's
nice.
awesome.
Well, make sure if you're in the area or you want to go visit Leeds, Friday night is the night to do it. Take advantage of that ice rink.
Yeah.
It's going to be up there.
Well, I will not be taking advantage of it because I'm...
Yeah, if you've never done that, especially usually those rinks that are put in are kind of small. And if you've never done that, it's hard.
I've reached...
ice skate on a little rink like that.
Ron and I talk about this a lot. I've reached the hip-breaking stage of my life, and there are just certain things that makes no sense for me to do.
I'm kind of with you there. So anyway. Okay, that was all we have today. We have a lot of great guests to look forward to next week.
Next week's going to be a great show. We're excited.
So join us then. We hope you have a great rest. Whoa! The Christmas parade.
Oh.
The Trustful Christmas Parade is this Saturday at 2 o'clock. It is an hour earlier this year. That parade is put on by the Trustful Area Chamber of Commerce. We live stream that thanks to Trinity Contractors is our main sponsor, and we have a lot of other sponsors coming in to support the live stream of the parade. And so we really appreciate all of those businesses who do that and help us to live stream it. The Chamber loves for us to live stream it so that people who can't be here can see it. And it's supposed to be a nice day, a cold day. But join us for that as well.
Not as cold as James Spann said last week it was going to be.
Not as cold as it's going to be Sunday evening. Oh,
yeah, he kind of went into the mode that he always complains about of other meteorologists last weekend, showing this Arctic deep freeze, and it's not going to get above freezing all day Saturday. It's actually going to be very pleasant, very, I think, seasonal.
Glad.
Would you say seasonal?
Yes.
Listen, we've been out there in T-shirts. I think we're both happy to put on the jacket and sweater for the Christmas parade.
I'll put on my heated vest. I'm not scared.
As you were saying that, I thought, I'll just get this out there. Brandon mentioned Trinity Contractors is our main sponsor. They're the presenting sponsor for that live stream of the Christmas parade. A lot of businesses know we run a scroll, and a lot of businesses like to have their name in the scroll as an additional sponsor for that broadcast. Every year we hear from businesses that have done it and didn't get a call or didn't know or forgot and didn't get a chance to do it. You call our office now. We've got probably 3 or 4 people. Yeah, several people can help you with it. But I apologize because I kind of mean to mention that every year and I forget. But if nobody's called and you want to be in the scroll at the bottom of the live stream and you've got a business and you want your name out there, we're happy to work with you. Just call our office, 205-533-8664.
Yep. Now, Sunday, the high is 37.
Sunday, the high is 37. What is it showing the high Saturday?
62.
That's a nice day.
Yeah. So anyway.
Let's wait and see. It was also going to be an Arctic front for 4 days this week that never materialized. Right. And by the way, the week before that, it was supposed to be 4 days of rain that ended up being 1. So
I'm glad because I'm sick of the rain.
Yeah.
All right. We hope you have a great week. We will see you back here Saturday. Have a great day.
If you don't have a will, trust, or some kind of estate plan, you're leaving your loved ones with a lot of headaches. Probate fees and tax issues bring stress to your family while they grieve your loss. Cahaba Law Group is here to protect them and give you reassurance that your hard-earned money and assets are not lost to bureaucratic mayhem. They can help you create the ideal estate plan. If you're currently in probate, Cahaba Law Group can help assist you there too. Plus, they can handle more than just probate. They can serve you in just about any legal matter. Begin now by scheduling a consultation at cahabalaw.net.
I'm Drew Lawley, General Manager at Courtesy Buick GMC. Come see us at Courtesy, where we have over 300 vehicles to choose from, including GMCs, Buicks, and certified pre-owned vehicles. Come see us at Courtesy or check us out at courtesybirmingham.com. Proud supporter of our area high school teams.